Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, the wife's yelling at me already. Look at that. 5 seconds into the show. Hey, welcome everybody to another chat with the muskrat. Run down through here, get hellos out the way. But Zach, I seen Zach was in here. I don't know if he's still listening. He was out on the river. I think he packed it up and headed in. So be safe, Zach, if you're on the road traveling. Betty and Brandon in the house. Stan, Sean Abney, John Latham, James Dockery. Janice is passing out over here, falling asleep on me already. Kevin Baker, Kazi, welcome. Mark says he's a little busy right now, so he's going to be listening. But so somebody else will have to step up the game on the sharing the links because he's going to be tied up for a little bit. But Mark, thanks for stopping in and listening. Tim Molina, Buckeye, Catfishing, Ace, Jim, Catman Clark, the one and only. Fishing with the Chad. Norm is in the house. Skip Stewart and LG Bass. Some of the first ones showing up tonight. So the guys, thank you for being here. I'm busy doing my hair. Yeah, good luck with that. unless you sweep some off the bathroom floor, I'm not sure how that's going to go. But so I'm going to try to keep up with chat. If I miss a question, don't hesitate throwing it back up again 4 or 5 times if you have to. But tonight I just want to talk a little bit about these cool nights. Man, I went out last night with Skip Stewart and my buddy Herb Everhart. As many of you knew, he was in that bad car accident there. We're over a month now. And so he has not been able to get out yet. And even though he's in a wheelchair and healing up, we was able to get him in the old muskrat last night and get him out on the Ohio River and do a little bit of fishing. Wasn't real productive. Only managed to put one little blue in the boat. But I know he appreciated it, just being outside, getting some fresh air and, wetting the line. So, but these cool mornings and cool nights are starting to drop the water temps. I don't know where everybody else is from. But around here in Southern Ohio, things are starting to cool down quick. And so that means it's going to be time for the fishing to start picking up. So when it cools down, things heat up around here. So we're going to talk a little bit about what you guys do, or what you guys have seen or done that has been effective when you transition from the summer bite and going into the fall bite. So I've got my 2 cents of studies and notes and things that I've done just over the last few years of really stepping into the to the trophy size catfish world, and so things do kind of start to change just a little bit. So Boonville, Indiana, seen that pop up on there. Kazi says water was 69 for you on Sunday. We put in, it was 67, I believe, Saturday morning. I think it heated up to about 74 by the time we got off the water up there on Hoover. So we have been able to get out and do a little bit of fishing this week. I was up on Hoover last Tuesday with Skip Stewart. We had a pretty good day. And then this week it came around. My wife wanted a piece of the action. So I took her up on Hoover on Saturday, I believe. Was it Saturday or Sunday? Saturday. Yeah, she's over there shaking her hands because she whooped my butt. What was it, 6 or 7 to 1?
Sunday.
Huh?
Sunday. With Trevor for Derek.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got a lot of fishing done this week. So we was out there on Sunday. I could see you. Oh, wait, that's for Catman. So we was out fishing in Hoover on Sunday. I went out and fished a Paint Creek with Derek from Ohio Catfish Chasers on Saturday, and we caught some fish. If anybody caught it, we was live there for a little bit, and we caught some fish there towards the end. A little slow going. We preferred to go out on Rocky Fork. I know that's Betty's favorite lake in the world, but we pulled in, and I'm telling you, there was probably 100 bass boats down there. I don't know if it was like the Bassapalooza of the summer, like the going out with a bang or what, but you couldn't park a boat or trailer or nothing nowhere. And those guys had everything so blocked and tied up down there. I figured we'd end up throwing down by the time we try to get a boat in. So Smart thing to do would have been to go to the other end of the lake and put it at the campgrounds, but I never claimed to be a smart man. We decided just to avoid all the traffic and hoopla and go down to Paint Creek and call ourselves fishermen and go chase them. So that's what we did. We put some fish in the boat, and we had a good time. No matter how many fish go in the boat, and if you put yourself with the kind of people that we have here in chat and close friends and family, you just have a good time. Me, I don't even have to catch a fish. You hang out with me, we're going to have fun. There's going to be some jokes and some shenanigans. I can't get that out right. But we'll have fun. So Maurice Cason's in the house. PD, Jay's Catfishing, Fin Seeker, Rex. Thank you guys all for joining in. Chunky Cats just jumped in. Elstan, thanks for listening. Be careful driving and listening. I have a tendency to try to pull that off, and I'll still glance at the phone more than I should. So be careful out there, brother. Kazi said he was out on Seneca. Oop, it went away. Senecaville, was that right? Senecaville, Ohio. Gotcha. So some of the things I wanted to talk about when, as things start to change, the water temperature starts to come down. It goes back to one of our favorite times of the year to fish, which is spring for me, as far as the big fish. Now, wintertime, man, I got a soft spot for wintertime right now, but come May and June, that's when most people are after them, trophy size catfish, and when they seem to put the big ones in the boat. But fall kinds of starts to reset back to those old habits that the catfish we're used to in the spring. So after the spawn, after the fish have been beat up, banged up, and run their guts out to make sure that there are more fish to come, they're hungry, And so a lot of times you'll see folks switching over to big baits this time of year and looking for, mass quantities of that bait. So, it's really no difference for the most of the year is you're going to try to find the bait, and that's where you're going to find your catfish. But now, even more than ever, starting to focus in and key in on creek mouths, shallow areas with brush piles. You're still going to be fishing in structure, but you're fishing it for where the bait fish are and feeding up on them. So myself, I'm always a big fan of big bait. You hear me say it, I like big bait. I cannot lie. That's a fact. Guys that fish with me know that I'm not afraid to put half a pound to a pound or whatever on the line there. I seen Norm questioning, what's your baits for fall season? Man, I'll be honest. I love gizzard shad year round. I'll use skipjack when I get the opportunity to. Big chunks of skipjack right now would be great. But for me, it's all about shad and just how big of a cut. So, right now the lakes and rivers are pretty much just polluted with 2 inch and a half a 3-pound bass on his line. Yeah, I'll do that. The rivers and lakes are polluted with little tiny shad, and so when you think about matching the hatch, yes, most of the fish are able to gorge up on those small bait fish that are out there, but in reality, they would probably prefer to get one big meal. It's a lot less effort, a lot less work. I'm the same way. I'd rather fill up my plate one big time and eat a nice big meal than just snack and chase food all day long. That's why I'm fat. But, the big baits, now you can still use that big bait. Me, I like the biggest shad I could find. Biggest shad I could find in the river or the lake is what I want to use. And if I want to use a small bait, I'll just cut that big bait into smaller chunks, because those chunks are still going to be bloodier and smellier and oilier than those little shad. Now, that's not saying you can't catch big fish on little tiny shad, because I've seen it done, and I've seen 1,000 posts Somebody might put 2 or 3 little 3-inch shad or half a dozen shad on a hook and still catch a big fish. So it can be done. But for me, I think that you get a lot more bang for your buck when you get them big shad and cut them down. If you want to use smaller baits, just cut it down to a smaller chunk. But me, I'm gonna throw a big bait as often as I can. Big live shad right now are going to be awesome. But after after all these shad, the small shad start moving off and things start settling down, the fish bite will pick up and we'll be able to get back after it. I know even like on our local lakes here, trying to catch crappie right now is just tough because they're just hanging out underneath all these giant balls of shad, and it's just smorgasbord city, going one right after another. So they'll, it's in their DNA. It's in their nature that this time of year, and when things start cooling down, they know winter's coming, as you and I do, and they know that they've got to start feeding up. The food sources aren't going to be as readily available as they are now. We all know that the shad and the bluegill presence, like it is right now, isn't the same come wintertime, and the fish know that as well. So they're going to stock up and pack on as many pounds as they can to make sure that they, are able to survive from the upcoming months and feeding up for the winter. So, if you prefer a big bait, if you prefer if you prefer a small bait, using a big bait, cutting it down, I feel is our best bet. Betty says that she wants to go to DC, which stands for, I guess I got to keep a secret, for the crappie. And I can tell you that normally I don't ever really get concerned about the creel limits and the number of fish people take out of the lakes. I like to think I can trust the DNR for being able to set those creel limits at a safe number for the taking. However, I don't think anyone could have anticipated the effect of COVID had this last spring, when many people were out of work or off work for the time being, and there was boats, as far as the eye could see. I know for a fact that my local lake down the road here, Deer Creek, I put in down there, and we were taking limits out. How many people was in the boat, that's how many limits was coming out. And it wasn't just that way for me, it was that way for everyone. And that boats were nose to tail all the way down the bank. And kind of anxious to see what the numbers look like, because I don't think anybody could have anticipated that many fishermen being out there and scoring like that, like we have. So, we'll wait and see. My other lakes, they still got crappie in them. I can find them generally. So does anybody got what they feel? I see some good names in here as far as folks that have been fishing for a lot longer than I have. Things that they would suggest being a good transition from going from the summer bite, the late summer bite, going into the fall bite, as the water temps begin to come down pretty quick. So, Tim, they closed most of your lakes. I did hear some of that going on, but from right here, our lakes didn't really close. So that actually might help you guys out tremendously come through the winter and the spring, or if you're crappie fishing through the fall now, be able to save those fish and creel limits for later on in the season or later on in the year. Tim says from March until June. Man, that's a long time to shut the lakes down. That's bad. I would not be happy with that. So, Catman says his only transition is break out the hoodies. And yeah, we definitely had to do that last night, busting out the hoodies and cold weather gear, because they got cold last night pretty quick. So I have to see him in there, but I see Lyle in the house, one over outdoors in the house, Stonefly, Dave Funk in the house. He says when the water flips, the fishing's on fire. Dave, I gotta get with you up there on Hoover. I'm just now dipping my toes in the water, and of course there ain't a whole lot of water left. They're letting a lot of water out of that lake. I was just up there a week ago, and I think it was down almost 2 feet a week later from where it was before. So I'm going to need some new insight. I think Kazi's from up there as well. So we'll have to get together and put some fish in the boat. Willie Cahoon, I think I seen somebody say hello. I didn't see him on there, but Willie, if you're in the house, thank you for stopping by, brother. But Creole Catfishing, I see him down there. You love tight winter sweaters. I don't know. I'm just going to leave that alone there, Catman. But yeah. Justin Fishing Fetish jumps in the house. So for me, right now this time of year, I've been, there he is. What's up, buddy? Catfishing with Cahoon. Seen you just put a video out the other day, man. I got to check it out yet, but I'm looking forward to it. LG Bass. I think I got you earlier, just in case. But for me, I like to use a softer tip right now. I love the fish for flatheads. That's actually what we were targeting last night. We were anchored up on some heavy cover. Basically where my exact same location my PB came from the year before last. I was in there looking to see if he got any bigger, if he was still home. But we'll see. But I like to, switch over. Like to use a softer tip right now, and a little bit lighter tackle for them sensitive bites. So for me, like using a 3-way swivel, I wouldn't connect my weight directly to the swivel. I will use a sinker slide or use a no roll sinker or something like that effect. Allow them to not feel something's wrong when they're doing these lighter bites. Not to feel that something's going on and have time to spit it out before we can reel down on them. Last night I think I threw bait in about a foot and a half of water, and that ended up being where the blue cat came from. So it was kind of crazy, but shallow water, man, never ever count it out. I don't care where you're from, where you're fishing, what the temperature is, no matter if it's hot or cold, never count out shallow water. I used to be one of those guys that I wanted to look for the deepest spot there was. I didn't care if it was a river, lake. I wanted to find the deepest hole there was, and that's what I wanted to fish. But not anymore. Doc Lang's in the house. Thank you, Doc, for stopping by. If there's a legend, he could teach us all everything, especially when it comes to transitioning from into the fall bite. I'm seeing some chat roll by, but wow, I seen somebody said that Hoover was down 18 feet last time. If it gets cold, muskrat, come down and fish with me. One over outdoors, man. I'd love to. I would love to. I don't need an excuse. Water, man, I tell you, the water was moving so slow. The High River last night, at least our pool, we were fishing the Ravenwood area above the Racine pool, and there was almost no current at all. I mean, if it was a half an hour, mile an hour, we was lucky. It was slow. Matter of fact, the wind was pushing us faster than what the current was taking us. I put a 66-inch drift sock out so we could try to pull a drift off, and it wasn't happening. And then I tried to go into the wind, and the wind was pushing the boat sideways. And I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I've got a Minn Kota Tarova, and I set the cruise control at like 0.5, but the wind was pushing me sideways at 0.7. And the trolling motor says, well, you're moving 0.7. You're set at 0.5. There's no need to kick on. So here I am just rolling sideways instead of forward. So, I kept turning the cruise control off and just trying to monitor the speed and try to keep things under control. But we fought it for an hour or two. We gave up on it. It was getting hung up a lot, man. We was trying to drift an area that had a lot of cover. It had a lot of fish. We ended up anchoring on it later on, but we ended up going back and finding all these trees. Man, there's this place is just littered with wood cover all over. I mean, it should be dynamite, but it just wasn't happening. Jim says, I feel your pain with the pontoon. Yeah, I used to fish. I got a 30-foot pontoon out there. And it's like a sailboat. It's hard to do. It's hard to do, much control on that pontoon, outside of anchoring. I've tried to pull drifts off with the pontoon that size, and it just ain't happening. So it's bad both ways, because if you got enough current to hold you, by the time you turn a 30-foot boat sideways and try to fish, because I don't have it set up to fish all out the back. It's got all the engine cover and the seats and everything out there. I really need to just tear it all out and redo it, do it the way I want. But if you got so much current that you could actually hold it there, then it was hard to hold 30-foot boat sideways, and so much water rushing up against it. And then we'd end up with it looked like a lock in a dam. I'd have so much debris up against the boat. It didn't work very well. So Justin's Fishing Fetish says, I want a pontoon. Man, I tell you, for most instances, it's a great fishing platform. And like I said, if I set mine up differently to where I could fish off the back, it probably would work just fine. And it's got a ton of room. I mean, you don't run out of room on a boat that size, which is great. But I ended up going with the Deep V, and I absolutely love it. As you guys have been able to follow, and I appreciate all the support as I went through the remodel of the boat. And then, of course, engine trouble kept me down, and, tight money pretty much slows everything down when you ain't got a bunch of cash to throw at the boat. So finally got it going. She's back and running. Man, we had a great time last night, and it's got a lot of trips planned out for us. So I can't wait to make them happy. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to catch up with some of the chat. I see a lot of chat rolling by. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. William Winterstein, I've seen him, and I can't keep up. It's scrolling faster than I can go back and get it. If you haven't checked out Fin Seekers, there we go, Sun's channel. Dink's Outdoors, that is a good one. I enjoy Dink Outdoors myself. Seen a good-sized blue feeding on small shad at a creek mouth, and it kept rolling up in 2 foot of water. So as we talked just a little while ago about never, ever counting out that shallow water, you can see it all the time. I know for a fact that, Justin Fishing Fetish and I fished the Captain Mad Jack's tournament by Steve Douglas. Was that Taylorsville Lake year before last, and was actually Chris Souders ended up catching big fish of the night. I think it was over 40 some pounds, and he caught it in 2 foot of water. And that was the middle of summer. I think it was a 7 foot thermocline on that lake. So it was tough fishing. But never count out that shallow water. 22 foot pontoon here. I pointed in the wind, used my trolling motor to keep it straight. All my rigs are off the front. Brian, that's actually not the first time I've heard of that. I actually don't see him in here tonight, but Palmetto Cat's Fishing, that's how he does. I think he actually drags baits in reverse on his pontoon. I'm kind of anxious to like to hear his thoughts and theories on that. Just curious, really. Dave Funk says going to have some nice winter shoreline fishing this year at Hoover. Go just about every weekend. Hope some of y'all can join me. Dave Funk, I will be there one way or another. I'll make it happen. Yeah. Actually, Willie Cahoon, watching what you did with your pontoon and kind of modifying it the way you made it. And then also Quentin Robbins, if you guys haven't checked out Mid-South Outdoor Life, those guys, Quentin had made a awesome pontoon called the Lucille. Hey, there he is. Kevin's in here driving home from church. Hey, Kevin, thanks for stopping in and listening, and be safe driving, and appreciate you being here. I was just saying, Justin says, want to learn how to fish Hoover. Man, I've only fished it twice, and I'm really starting to like it. I'm really starting to like it because you could drag, and like the day Skip and I were out, we ended up catching like 25 fish, and one being a 37-pound flathead, and then you also got the opportunity at them 20, 30s, and 40-pound blue cats that are swimming around up there. It's a good time, and I know I said it last week, but fishing with chicken, man, it's growing on me kind of quick. It's for certain type of fish and certain type of fishing. Hey, there's Ohio Catfish Chasers. He's in the house. Derek, what's up, brother? Guys, if you haven't checked out Ohio Catfish Chasers, Derek, man, he's a good time. He and I hooked up, as I have with several different people, especially just here in chat. Several folks, man, I've hooked up with and got the experience going out and fishing for a day, and some folks fishing, like Skip I see here, fishing several trips. That's a cool thing about this platform, cool thing about this catfish community. Be able to meet up with folks that are local to your area, even meeting up with folks that are not local to your area, that are, far away or completely new area, that can help you learn how to fish new waters, or someone needs to name their page Fishing with the Chicken, or Fishing with Chicken. That might be a good thumbnail. JP3's in the house. Thanks, brother, for stopping in. I seen Dad was in here too. Thanks for John. Patrick Jr. for being in here as well. But I lost myself. But yeah, fishing with the chicken, it has its place in time. I don't feel confident I'm going to catch a 30-pounder or 40-pounder on it, although we don't know for sure, but it's possible that Skip Stewart caught his PB 46-pound blue cat just a few weeks ago on cut chicken. I don't know how we'll ever solve that debate, whether it was chicken or not on the line that when it went down. But Roger, you should roll down to Racine next weekend. I think I got plans on Saturday, John, but if you set something up for Sunday, I could probably do it. Just get with me. So yeah, I don't feel 100% confident I'm going to land a big old fish on chicken, but man, them 5, 10, 15-pound. Well, I just got the answer I was looking for, because I trust him. I don't know where it went, but I think it's farther up here. But Jim Catman Clark, I thought he just said he caught like a 30 or maybe bigger. I can't get caught up. Yeah. Going back to Portsmouth area tomorrow. Wind's going to be 0 to 2. Man, Jim, I wish I had time to come down there. I got some stuff I got to help take care of for my buddy who's down and out right now. So I won't be able to go fishing for the next 2 days. Friday I want to go, but Jim, if you don't mind sharing that again, I can't find it. Looked like Jim had stopped in and said that he has caught. There it is. Norm got a 40-pound blue on chicken breast. So the undeniable fishability of the chicken is hard to beat. And I just got to be completely honest. Chat Cats caught a 98-pound blue on plain chicken. That's all I need to know. That is all I need to know, man. Justin Fishing Fetish, how's Herb doing? Thanks for asking. Herb is, guys, he's banged up bad, but that guy is tough as nails and stubborn as a mule, and so he will be just fine. We're, without putting too much information out there, his foot's still kind of iffy on what they're going to do with it. We go the first to see a surgeon, and then we'll go from there. But he's in great spirits and he's in good hands. Thanks for asking, brother. Willie Cahoon, did TK get a hold of you? Told me no, they didn't. I need to just reach out to him soon, because I gotta get some hooks together for a Wheeler, man. I gotta get stocked up. I seen that the only thing I seen online was like a 9-pack, or maybe it was a 10-pack. I think it was a 10-pack, and I was hoping to get something in the 50-pack or 100-pack range, but we'll figure it out. But appreciate you throwing it out there for me, buddy. Yes, it may work for others. You got to see if it works in your water, your fish, and why not give something else a chance. Michael Rillo, that is a great statement right there. There's baits that work fantastic in other bodies of water that may or may not work in your water for any particular reason, and there's no real good way to try to figure it out. The closest thing I can compare that to is why, like fishing for flatheads, some people say that, they cannot catch a flathead on cut bait. And then other areas, other bodies of water, they say that they can only catch flatheads on cut bait. And so a catfish is a catfish, you would think, no matter where they're from. But it doesn't make sense to me. But you definitely got to try different things and see what works for you, works for that body of water. Things change almost daily. Heck, they could change hourly. So Catman says, I caught several 20 to 30 pounds and a 49-pound blue on plain chicken breast. Man, it's hard not to give that stuff a try when all you have to do is go to the store and pick up a pack of chicken and you've got bait. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll order tomorrow if you still want me to, Roger. I'll get with you, Betty, after the show. But I lost my train of thought. Squirrel. I never would have guessed lemonade chicken, but hey, the data is out there. Give things a chance. I back that up again, Mr. Murillo, as Skip and I used lemonade chicken on Hoover, and it was, it was burning it up. It was doing really good. It was doing really good. We did switch over, and I wanted to see if the plain chicken would catch fish as well, and it did. So whether it really outfished the plain chicken, I don't know. But did they hit the lemonade chicken? They damn sure did. They hit it. Hey, Derek, thanks for stopping by, brother. Be careful getting ready for Mississippi. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys end up pulling up out of there. Man, I love crappie fishing down in Mississippi. So that is something else. Dave Funk, there's the man. I'll tell you, he's got all 3 of his 60-plus pound flatheads all caught on Hoover on cut bait. And that's just, you could spread this out all over the country and talk to folks about whether they're using cut bait or live bait for flatheads, and it doesn't ever seem to be the same story twice. It's all over the place. Eddie 5. Hey, Eddie, that looks like a new name for me. Thank you for stopping in and giving us a chance here. Appreciate you being here. Says, I just caught a flathead this morning on skipjack head. Kayak Catfish has caught multiple big flatties on cut bait and with live bait on the rod right beside it. And that is a fantastic point. I watch a lot of kayak catfish, as I'm sure many of you do. The fact that guy can just hammer nice fish from the kayak like that is unbelievable. And I don't know. I just kind of like his attitude. I like watching him. But yeah, he's right. Cut bait right next to a live bait and gets hammered. Yeah, Funk, every blue I've got on Hoover, 33 to 41 pounds, has been on cut bait. Huh. What was that? Last week we was out there. We caught blues on, I was catching them on warmouth. Yeah, little on warmouth, about 3-4 inches long, and we was catching blue cats on them. But most every shovel heads I ever caught have been on cut bait. Yep. Now, I normally catch most of my flatheads on live bait, but my PB was my 55-pound flathead I caught out of the river. It was caught on cut skipjack. And right there, another one, Mark from Catfish and Crappie. It looked like he couldn't take it no more. He had to chime in, and he says 57-pound flathead on cut bait. So, but it's undeniable. White bass is also good for blues. Yep, white bass. I think we've actually caught. I think the one blue I caught last night was on a white bass. Tell you what, moon eye versus shad, both cut. Moon eye smoked the shad this weekend right next to each other. Yeah, moon eye. If you can get moon eye and keep it fresh, moon eye is a fantastic bait. It is basically like a shad. And the only way I know to explain the difference between the two is a shad is a herbivore. I mean, it eats plankton and algae and things like that. But the moon eye will eat crickets, worms, bugs, and so their diet is completely different. So the diet is completely different. So it really has a lot to do with, I'm guessing, the way they taste, the way they smell in the water, and whatnot. But I completely agree. Moon eye is a fantastic bait. They say, in the summertime, especially, is the best time to use moon eye. So JP3 says, come to Racine the 3rd, and we'll all have to fish together. October the 3rd. I'm not sure what we got going on October 3rd. For some reason, it seems like those dates we got something going on, but I'm not sure. I know I'm leaving for Alabama on the 10th. I am so looking forward to that. Let's see here real quick. Oh, yeah. Kazi says 80 to 88 degree water temp, moon eye every time. Shrimp works well down there. I've used some shrimp here and there. Oh, let me get back out of that. I clicked the wrong thing. I've used shrimp here. I'll be honest with you. I make a little, I'll take a bag of shrimp from Walmart, and I usually get the raw, uncooked, plain Jane. So tail on, it don't need to be deveined or nothing. Just leave it all natural. And I will take a bottle of Yum crawfish spray. I don't know how many ounces that is, probably 2 to 4. I'm not sure. Just a bottle. And I'll take a half a bottle of that and pour in on that shad and let that just soak in that. I mean, not shad, I'm sorry. Skipjack. Again, I'm wrong. See, this is the problem with live. I can't edit any of this. I just look like a dummy. Shrimp. I'll put the half a bottle of Yum crawfish spray in on top of the shrimp, and in the spraying, banging them off of rocks. We've murdered the channel cat. Justin's Fishing says that stuff works great. I'm not sure if he's talking about mine or not, because there's a lot of comments going through. We use raw uncooked shrimp, and yeah, I like the raw uncooked shrimp, and I'll put the Yum crawfish spray on top of it. And the thing about that stuff is as long as you keep it cold, you can use it over and over again. You can freeze it, take it out, use it. As long as you keep it cold, you can put it back in the freezer. It didn't seem to change the bite whatsoever. Thanks, Elstan. He says, no, you just look like Chunky. I'm not sure if that's, I hope you mean in a good way. I seen, anybody ever used skipjack oil? Maurice, I've never even seen skipjack oil. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen it. But I don't see why it wouldn't. Kevin says, if y'all want shrimp, I'll just go to the Ashley River and throw the cast net a few times. I'm not buying shrimp for catfish to eat. That's too expensive. And you're right. It is hard to use it as bait. I swore for years I would never use shrimp for bait because I love to eat shrimp, and I just wouldn't do it. But then a buddy of mine took me out, and he had his shrimp, and I was like, well, I'll use your shrimp, but I'm not paying for it. And man, we had a phenomenal day of catching catfish, channel cats. But man, we just had a fantastic day. It was unreal. It was like catching bluegill off the bank. I mean, I'd set my bobber. You know, we was fishing deep rock, riprap banks, and I'd set my bobber, 3 to 5 feet deep, throw it up against the bank, and reel it out, pull it out until it stood up, and there was no time, man. That thing was gone. Betty Jean's driving to the store. She's still listening. Betty, did you guys break another coffee pot? Something's wrong with you guys. These late night Walmart trips getting expensive. I use the old shrimp on clearance at Walmart. Mark, that's a great idea. I normally just buy a frozen bag here and there when I get a chance. And my wife just walked in the room and heard you say, don't devein the shrimp. She said, no, you have to devein them. She thought we were talking about cooking them. Yeah. If I'm going to eat them, I'm going to devein them. I'm going to make sure that get all that crap out of there. So let her rest easy when I'm not eating that stuff. Oh, okay. Betty's going to the gas station. All right, no problem. I bet I could guess why. It's either energy drinks or smokes. Roger's not 2 a.m. Can't be the coffee pot. Yeah, well, our Walmart's even open at 2 a.m. anymore. Walmart sells frozen bait shrimp. It says it's not for human consumption. Huh. Well, I've not seen it at our Walmart, but not to say it's not there. I just go straight for the human consumption. That way, plan B, I'm hungry. That's what happened last night. I bought one of these little grills. I took out on a boat, man. We got hungry. I fired it up. We was having smoked sausages at 7 o'clock last night. The bait shop near me sells bait shrimp. Huh. Well, Kevin, I'd say down your way, as easy as it is to come across the shrimp, that might not. But up here, I haven't seen bait shrimp and human consumption shrimp, unless it's like packaged in like the little packages like they do the shad and stuff that they put in them little packs. I'll be honest with you, I've never used any of that stuff. I've never known any of it to be worth a hoot. Sorry, I'm going to turn my phone down here. I've never known any of that stuff to be worth a darn, so I've never used it. And so it may be in mixed in with that stuff there. I'll be using small pieces of brim Thursday when I go. We bluegill's, one of my favorites all time, no matter what. If Skip's still in here, which I believe he is, he'll tell you that he caught his 37-pound flathead pulling 2 bluegill fillets. Flayed one side off and then just left the other side with the spine in it and left the spine in it, and that's what he ended up catching his on. Dave Funk says, Old Dutchman sells bait shrimp. It's no good. Yeah, I would imagine they've got preservatives and crap like that in them to maintain the shelf life so they ain't throwing it away. So, the all natural stuff, we prefer to be au naturel. Most of what I fish with is stuff I would otherwise eat, so it's all good. When I plan on eating the catfish, I've used shrimp, chicken, hot dogs. Oh, I missed it. Chat jumped all the way down to the bottom of me. But yeah, I seen Skip confirming there. So yeah, the small pieces of bait, that's what I love about Hoover. you know, we've only been up there a few times, but the fact that we can go up there and catch flatheads and know that there's big flatheads in there and blue cats and channel cats and just have a good time. Even though it's a 9.9 only lake, and I do have a 9.9. I broke the starter pulley on it, and it's $60 for half of a pulley. It's crazy. So I've got to get a pulley for it, put it back together. But otherwise, I use my trolling motor, and my trolling motor is a tank. So, you know, we was able to troll all day, fighting the wind. Roger, you need to cut your hair like me and Chad. No, not happening. I've got my own bald spot going on back there. That's about as far as I'm going to let it go. You know, so a lot of my 40 plus are caught on cut though. I don't know if you're still talking about cut bait versus live bait, if you're talking about brim. So those like eating snot. Oh, I missed something here. But anyway, I hate to see guys talk about using their voice text to drive. I do that all the time. If you get some messed up chats from me or messages, there's a good chance I don't know how to spell. That's pretty bad when when Google can't figure out what you're trying to say. It's bad. It's like when I go to type and Google can't even guess the word I'm trying to type. That's bad because it's Google. I mean, they know all the words, and they can't. None of my spelling doesn't even come close to any of the words. So I feel pretty dumb when I'm typing something and Google can't figure it out. So I like to use voice text, especially on big words when I'm just not sure, because I second guess myself all the time. Buckeye catfishing. I'm not sure if that's a clown or a snowman. It looks like a clown. I'm not sure where that came from. Yeah, the generator idea, keep the trolling motor charged. That was so if you go to many tournaments, and I'll go back to past experience fishing with Doc Lang a couple years ago. We did a fundraising tournament here on the Rocky Fork Lake, and Doc runs a generator up front of his boat the whole time. And you know, first few minutes it's kind of annoying, but you'd be surprised after 10 minutes you forget it's even there, and you have no worries of electrical issues. You know, I mean, at least juice the entire time you're out fishing. So Skip picked up one. We kind of did a little review live on the water there about how quiet it was, the ease of operation, and whether it was working like we said it would. The only downfall we found is to using the generator. And mind you, this is a Harbor Freight generator that he was using. The Predator series of the 2000 inverter. They run about $450. A couple good batteries run you that. And he was running it all day. You can run like 12 hours on a gallon of gas. So that's cheap. That is real cheap. And the only downside that we found was it interfered with the fish finder. So we was not getting we could not get a good picture on our Garmin fish finder while the generator was running. So I'm not sure if there's a way to get around that, find you know, if there's got to be a dampener put on somewhere or what to help clear that up, because it is very tough to run the generator if you can't use your graphs, because I'm a cheater. I like to use the graphs just as much as I possibly can. I'm actually having an interference issue right now. I've got my Garmin, and for some reason my Minn Kota is interfering with the graph. So trying to figure that one out. If anybody has experience with the Minn Kota trolling motor interfering with your graphs, they are all hooked up on independent batteries. Trolling motor battery is completely by itself, and the graph is on a battery all by itself. Nothing else connected to it, and I still get interference. So it's kind of crazy. I've got an inverted generator to keep off the back platform of the boat. Should be shielded by the boat predator, like you're speaking about. Yep. There's a lot of guys, a lot of the tournament guys do that. For guys that are pretty much just fun fishing, like most of us are. You don't see that very often, but when you go to some of these bigger tournaments, as I'm sure some of you have, you'll see these generators running. Mark, that's a new one. Your GoPro interferes with your Altera remote. Huh. Is your graph battery hooked to the bank charger? It is. So, yes, that battery is hooked to the same charger that the trolling motor batteries are hooked to. And I can fix that if it made a difference, because I have 2 onboard chargers. It's not funny really, but I run 7 batteries on my boat. So I've got a 3-bank and a 4-bank charger running. But I've never heard the GoPro interfering with the remote. So that is something to keep in mind, because I'm running the GoPro, and on my Minn Kota I'm running the I've got the iPilot Link. So I've got the touchscreen fancy schmancy remote that I don't even know how to use. I'm learning. Fishing with the Squirrel says it's probably the reason. All right. Well, I will. You're getting feedback through the bank charger. Okay. That is good information. So what I think I'll do is, I'll just move one of those banks to a different battery and run that battery to the onboard charging system that's run off the back of the boat. I do. I have the chargers mounted inside the boat. So I've got one up front and one in the back. All right. Mark says it's a Bluetooth issue. I got you, buddy. I'm sure you know this, but in case anybody else hasn't, or if you're next to a guy who's having motor problems, know that you can download the Minn Kota, you can download the iPilot app on your phone, and in a pinch, you can run your trolling motor with your cell phone. We have done it, and it works. You don't get all of your features, but you get most of your features, and it'd be enough to get you by. For instance, if you lost a remote and you needed to get by until you got the new one in the mail, it'd work. We had remote issues the day we planned on going out. We download the app. It worked. Kevin says, I'm going to watch the first half I missed because this will be my first fall I try catfishing. For me, it looks like, a lot of it is, going back and starting to kind of start over with the year. Basically what I was doing at the end of spring is what I'm going to start doing at the beginning of fall, and kind of transition into winter as I go. Roger, get an RF filter and put it in line on your graph power wire. Okay, that's a good one. I've got a RF filter on the transducer wire, came with it, but an RF filter on the power wire, I could do that as well. Roger, what is the best part of the Letart Island to fish? JP3, throw that one back out there again, because I'm not sure what a Letart Island is. I don't know if it's the name of that island up there at Racine, because I don't. If that's the name of it, I just didn't know it. And so I can kind of tell you how I fish it and how I've been successful fishing that island. Brian says, I've only been jugging during the fall and winter because I freeze, but I'm getting real and getting some cold weather gear so I can hunt some big ones with the rods this year. Kevin's invested in a buddy heater for the pontoon. Buddy heater. Oh, I was thinking of the buddy heater suit. There's a there's it looks like a sleeping bag. You basically zip yourself up in. The Letart Island is just north of the Racine Island. I don't think I've been up that far then, JP3. I think the first island I come to out of Racine is the only island I've fished. I don't think I've ever gone up past that island. So I couldn't tell you anything about that one. Yeah, winter fishing is fantastic. That was my first winter fishing this last winter, and I did invest in some good gear. I bought the Cabela's guide wear, and it was the Extreme Series. So it has a little bit of insulation to it. It's not great insulation, but you know, from this time of year all the way up until it's hot again, it works really, really well. I'm really happy with that gear. Kazi, have you seen the Columbus Police Sea Arc with a jet engine on Hoover yet? Whew, I haven't seen that either. Stillnya is Stilliner. What's up, muskrat friends? Call me Still. Okay, that's way easier than trying to figure out what that means. So welcome, Still, to the show. That's a new one for me. So thank you for joining us. We're talking catfishing. It's open chat. We can just like kind of shoot the breeze a little bit, talking about going into, transitioning into the fall patterns and what we do differently, moving out of the summer bite, moving into the fall bite, and getting geared up for that. Does anyone here remember Bozo the Clown and Cookie on TV as a kid? And that too reminds me of, that kid has two. Chad reminds me of how JP3 is trying to get out for the job. I do remember that. Bozo the Clown, I do remember that. I don't remember it very well. So, what we got here? Sorry, Roger, meant to say the Letart Island is just north of the Racine Dam. Okay, now if that's the dam just right above it, then yes, I have fished it. And with the Racine Dam to my back, I fished off the left-hand side. It is, I'm pretty sure you've been on it, but it's very, very shallow all the way out the tail end of that. However, what I like to do is I will pull up in that foot of water, foot and a half of water, and I will position my boat back just a little ways to where I can throw out into the current, and the current will sweep my bait back up against that ledge. So there's a pretty good, it's actually a double ledge that comes off that flat. And so what will happen is when I cast short, the short will land on the first flat and the current will sweep it in up against the ledge of that first flat. And when I cast it far, it will land on the secondary ledge, the main channel ledge, and get swept back up against that channel ledge. And I've been pretty successful a couple different times there. And then right on down from that bank side, there's a pretty good deep hole that we pull flatheads out of. So that island, at least for me on the left-hand side, has been pretty good. I fished on the right-hand side and just above it just a little bit. Again, shallow as well, but did not do very well. But I haven't fished it a whole lot either. But in my experience, that's where I was finding the fish and how I was set up on them to fish it. I was using lighter weights depending on the current, just to make sure that the bait did get swept back and ended up where I wanted it to be, which was either the primary ledge or the secondary ledge or the primary channel. So real-time catfishing, welcome. Well, we got a lot of new faces in here. ACC Gaming. Haven't seen that one before, so welcome. Kevin, why are you putting DNA strands on here? I must have missed something. All right, Mark's finally done working for the night. Muskrat, does your pontoon have an enclosure? You could put a heater in that and stay toasty. It does not. Matter of fact, when I first bought that thing, it had an 18-foot collapsible aluminum top, and you just couldn't cast out from underneath the top like that. You couldn't cast out of it. You couldn't set the hook with it there. It was just always in the way. So I took it off and sold it. And I wish I didn't, because now I've got the deep V, and I was like, man, I really wish I'd had a top on that thing. But I'm actually in the process. Actually, it looks like it might be next year now. As much fishing as I missed this year with boat rebuilds and everything else, I may. Okay, JP3, I'll see that. I'll check that out. I may end up waiting clear till spawn next year to do another modification to the boat. Next mod coming is dual consoles up front and a full split windshield, and then I'll be able to build an enclosure, or at least have an enclosure that I can put up for the winter, because it does get pretty cold down here, and when you're running down the lake or river, I'm sorry, at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, and the temperature's 20, it's cold, and if you don't got the windshield and everything there to protect you, you get cold pretty fast. So yeah, Betty says Southern Ohio people are poor. We freeze. I try not to freeze. I don't like to freeze, but wife taking over this boat in a year or two. She's not be happy if I put an enclosure on it, but it would be nice. Yeah. It's not practical for most uses, but depends on, how you fish and when you're fishing. Justin says you can give the pontoon to me and I would take good care of it for you. I could borrow it anytime. I've come close to selling it. Janice is not having it. We just don't use it that much. Still runs, and I got a Tarova motor on it and everything, and it's a big old boat. It's not very pretty. It needs some cosmetic work done. Structurally, she's sound and runs. So, I've tinkered around with it a little bit. I just don't think it's going fast enough. I don't know if it's a prop issue or what. Mark says, I'm just dreaming of winning the lottery and buying a Hughes craft. Those are some really, really nice boats. Let's see. I tried scrolling up. Oh, okay. Ace is trying to explain some profiles here. So I was kind of wondering what was going on, but that's all good. I could wear twice as much as you, Brandon, wear and still get cold. I just go until I can't move anymore. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to work. Deep winter river is normally high. Oops. Nail poop. Roger, if you need a motor, I've got a leftover race engine in my shop. Get you to the spot quick. Yeah, that motor, I put like $3,000, $4,000 in that motor, and it's still not where I think it should be. I just get frustrated. 30-foot pontoon is like a barge, slow and steady. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is now. We load it up and head out, and it doesn't go real fast. I think like 25 is what I'm getting out of it now, but that's just not what it should be getting. It's just not what I should be getting for a 115. It's an old Johnson, but I'm at the point where I put so much money into it, I can't get rid of it, and I don't want to put any more money into it, so I'm kind of just stuck here. I'm not sure what I want to do. JP3 says Dream Catfish bows a 20 to 24 foot pontoon. Like I said, they make awesome fishing platforms. They're pretty tough. I've seen many tournaments. Guys going out and big pontoon boats catfishing tournaments. So there is absolutely No disregarding to a pontoon. Let's see, what did I say? Eric Tuscan took me out on the Ohio River last year on his Hughes craft. It was sweet. I bet Dave Funk, man, those things. The closest I got to one was at the Catfish conference. I got to touch it. I think I even got in one just to bounced up and down the seat like a little kid on the playground, just bouncing, holding the steering wheel. That was. Mark says he'd build a fishing apartment on the pontoon. Yeah, I've seen people live in campers smaller than that. Sean T. Outdoors said he ordered an 18-foot Sun Tracker pontoon with a 50-horse four-stroke. Man, the four-stroke's the way to go. It's just so expensive to buy a motor. You're better off buying the whole boat. I looked at possibly repowering the boat with a new four-stroke. Man, they're so expensive. It's unreal. You're better off buying a boat that's got a few years on it and taking the motor off. But then, if it's only a few years old, it's a nice boat. In my situation, I absolutely love my boat the way it is. It's just, I just wish it was a four-stroke. And the only reason I wish it was a four-stroke is for, gas mileage. I got a 30-gallon fuel cell on there, and I use a lot of gas driving. I mean, I haven't really checked it out now that things have been redone on it. I had the shop go through everything, and I've got everything's working in order. So it was running really good. Yeah, pretty happy with it. I think it's crazy. No matter how much weight we put in that muskrat, no matter how much crap we load into that boat, it still runs 35 miles an hour. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I put in or what I take out. Actually, I don't think I've tried running it like empty, because if I put my boat in the water, it's going fishing. There's really no other reason. But we load it down with everything. There was 3 of us in the boat last night, 40 gallons of water for the extreme bait tank, 30 gallons of gas, 7 batteries, hurricane anchors everywhere, lead coming out the wazoo, all of our gear, food coolers. We load her down. Justin says, would the four-stroke be easier to pull start? Well, hopefully we don't have to pull start it. Oh, poor Justin, man. Justin's only been able to fish with me a few times, and one of those few times my starter goes out and it's freezing cold, and Justin become the starter for the day because we weren't giving up, and luckily it pull started okay. We got it running, but every single time we wanted to move spots, I had to push Justin's button to get him going. So, the good times, memories. So that's why I called it Muskrat Adventures. It's not muskrat catching or catfish slayer or whatever. It's an adventure, and most trips on the boat are an adventure. When you're bringing the muskrat back to Owensboro, Jim, I am, I'll be honest, I'm out of money. Money's tight right here right now. I won't lie. Just with me not being able to get back to work, and, depending on my wife and all the other bills and expenses is coming out, I got to keep it. I got to keep a budget. Heck, just running my boat and my truck, gas kill me. Shoot, I think I spent like $130 yesterday just in gas. It was crazy. I've got that's Skip. I've got the Mercury 150 and love it. Yeah, Skip's boat is pretty nice. He's got it set up. It is a tracker. Was it the Targa? Oh no, it's not the Targa. Shoot, Skip, I forgot what it is. I don't care what it is. It's nice. It's got a 115 on it. He's got the Altera on it. He's got that baby set up. It's I'm pretty spoiled when I'm fishing with Skip and Zach. Zach's got a ProCat 200. I'm the one running the old boat, but 1983 Sylvan Deep V is what I'm running. Jim, that's hard to pass up. It's also hard to accept sometimes, but I'll get down there. I know Although I was watching last week's feed, and I don't know what happened, Jim. You put on there, I'm not showing Roger any of my spots ever again. Oh, man. Now that's an offer. Justin said, I'll haul you and the muskrat down to Jim's. There it is. Skip Stewart Pro Guide 165. I think it seems, for some reason I was thinking it was 18 foot. That's just so wide. You know, you got a lot more room what you think you do in a 16.5 foot boat. But mine's the 2072 center console Triton. I'll tell you, Skip Stewart says he's coming with me. We'll have the convoy. We'll just load up and start heading down to Owensboro. They cancel Monster Zone in Ohio. We'll have our own. Yeah. Hey, real time catfishing. Thanks, man, for saying that. Great group of people. Thank you. I'll tell you, just kind of get off subject here. Last week's show, we had Betty Jean and Brandon on, and we just kind of talked just like we are now. And we kind of went back and forth about fishing, and we joked around a little bit. And I just want to give a shout out to Stan. Stan Smith had probably one of the nicest comments I've been left on a video, whether it was live or whatever. One of the best. I've got a couple others. Michael Merlo has also touched my heart before, and but he said after the show, he said it was just like hanging out on the boat fishing with friends. And man, that to me is perfect. That's the feel I want to have when it comes to these shows. I'm not a pro. I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. And there's a lot I figure out on my own. And there's a lot I've learned off of you guys. There's a lot I've learned off of real good friends. There's a lot I've learned off of YouTube, like many of us have. And I truly enjoy sharing what I can because I've truly appreciated what I've learned. And that comment from Stan really made my night when I read it, because that is the perfect vibe that I want for my channel. Everyone has a vision of kind of where they want to go and what they like to do. For me, that there was one of the nicest and rewarding comments that I've had so far. So Stan, thank you very much for taking the time to leave a comment after the video. But then also that was meant a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys that come in. I know not all the time, everyone can come in and stay the whole time. We run over, I try to keep it an hour and a half. We're about that right now, about hour and 15-minute mark. But when I see we got good participation in chat, and we got, at least on my end, I'm showing 46 people still hanging out and we're having a good time, I just let it roll. I don't like to, I don't mind if people jump out if the show's dragging on. Lord knows that I've been in chats and had things going on in the house or had other things going on, and I've jumped in and out of chat. No harm, no foul. But when I've got 46 people here and we're just having a good time talking about catfishing, joking around with each other and sharing tips and just having fun, man, that's what I like about it. That's truly what keeps me coming back on, every single week. It's not easy. Always trying to come up with an idea. What are we going to talk about this week? Or, especially coming up with a guest. I kind of decided, because I did check around. I was trying to get some folks lined up to come on the show, and I do got more folks I'm reaching out to. But I don't want to just kind of be grabbing people to grab people, just to have somebody on the show to fill that spot. Because a lot of folks, they get, once they start getting a little bit of light to them, they gain popularity, and then other shows are reaching out to them. And I don't want to, I don't want to be one of those programs that, I'm just bringing people in to have to click that box. Same people kind of getting passed around. And so with that being said, if you do want to come on the show, I would absolutely love having you. I just don't want to chase people down and make them feel like, obligated, because I had a couple folks that agreed to come on the show, and things happened and it didn't work out. And not just my show, some other shows that they were scheduled to do as well. But that's the ups and downs of it. But if there's people that wouldn't mind being on the show, absolutely shoot me a message, man. I'd love nothing more to bring you on here and have some fun and talk catfishing and have somebody to bounce ideas and questions off of. L. Stan says I might not be able to write and read or spell, but I can smile and talk. And brother, that's all we need. Your smile is so contagious. I don't know any other word to explain it than contagious. When I see your live, I've got to check it out. Now your lives get long sometimes, and I can't stick around that long. But man, I got to check out what's going on. I got to see what else stands up to when I see that notification. So we call that getting a big head. Come on, man. I don't know if that's for me or not. But no, I just wanted to put that out there just because that comment really meant a lot to me, and I wanted him to know and everyone to know that I appreciate you guys being in here. Your head going to sink. My head's going to sink the muskrat. I don't know. I've got her packed down pretty bad, and she's still now. She is low rear end heavy. I got to try to figure out. I might have to move the bait tank around a little bit. She does sit low rear end heavy. I wanted to put some. I would love to put some, float pods on the back to help bring the rear end up a little bit, but that's not in the budget. And I got a kicker motor for it. I just haven't never put it on. Of course, I said I broke the pull start on it, so I would like to get that kicker motor on because I think the more I learn Hoover, the more I'll fish it. I do like it up there, especially when things are kind of slow like they have been, down on the Ohio River right now. Man, it's just been tough. I mean, I know that there's some folks, I watched several pages. Betty says her boat has the same issue. Her booty too heavy. Yeah, I got a lot of junk in the trunk, that's for sure. And I'm talking about me and the boat. So if the shoe fits. But yeah, I like to get that thing going. But like when, there's people catching some fish, it seems like on the Ohio River, but my small circle of folks that I talk to, it's been pretty tough going. So he can signal for help with that bald spot he's got going on. I'd assume you're talking about me now because I got it. It's a very big topic, and those of us who are more than just viewers and chat participants try to have that positive impact. If you have a compliment, then you need to step forward and pay that compliment. Michael Murillo, thank you very much for saying that. Michael had sent me a message early on in my YouTube, I don't know if I call it career, but YouTube journey. And Murillo sent some very, just very inspiring words, some feedback, and feedback, good or bad, believe it or not, helps us grow. If you get a thumbs down, maybe try to question why you got a thumbs down. What could you have done differently? Now, are those guys out there this is going to pop in and be a turd? Yeah, you can't worry about that. But when you get good comments and good feedback, it really gives you the energy to push forward and push harder. And and the same goes for feedback when you got ideas. When you got ideas of things that we could do differently or things you guys want to see. Because I'll be honest with you, as a YouTube content creator, sometimes, outside, hey, let's just go catch fish. It gets a little, it's a little bit harder sometimes to try to come up with meaningful content. That's why, was it last week or week before when I had discovered more about that Google Pro, I couldn't wait to share it. It was something I learned and something I thought was super cool. And so I wanted to share it with my friends, and hopefully, somebody else would find it as interesting or useful as I did, and, maybe help you out somewhere. So haters going to hate, potatoes going to potate. Hold that head up high and march forward. That's one way of putting it, Betty. Betty has some crazy sayings, and some of them you can't repeat, but that one was okay. Kazi says, I'll see y'all on Hoover one day. Just take a pic, make people think I know someone who knows someone. Kazi, you can holler at me anytime, man. I'm always game for picking up tricks on Hoover. You holler at me, I'll come meet you up there, and I'll bring my boat or your boat. I'm not sure what you got, but whatever it takes, I'll come up and I come up and learn. I learn something every time. And if I can pass something on and teach it, I'll pass it on and teach it. I'm an open book. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but whatever is on this tongue comes right off. Stan says, I don't know. Palmetto, I'm on a winning streak. I won your counter and rigs last night on Catfish Weekly. I think I'm getting a rod. Stan, you might be it. You might be right. I seen that L Stan had the Whisker Seeker rods out. Then there's a lot of let's see, we've got Palmetto Cats hitting 1,000. By the way, congratulations. I know I sent you a message, but congratulations on hitting that 1,000 mark. You definitely deserve it. You have worked your tail off for the last several months to make that happen. So congratulations, well deserved. Who else we got on the giveaway streak right now? Said Chunky's got the rods coming up, giving away. I don't know. My memory's slipping me right now. I'm trying to keep up with chat. Grab your tent and come camp sometime, and we will fish all day and night. Boy, it's been a long time since I had to sleep in a tent, but I've got one. I've got a tent. I don't know if I still got a cot. I don't know what the weight limit is on a cot. I might have to use the air mattress. Skip Stewart says, I'd like to fish with Dave and Kazi up there at Hoover. Yeah, Skip, hooking up with guys that's got some experience, got some knowledge. I think I mentioned it last week. We were blessed enough to run into a gentleman coming off of Hoover last week that kind of filled us in on a little bit of the story about, the water, how it's ran. Of course, Buckeye Catfishing filled us in a little bit about how the lake was ran by the city and not by the ODNR. But they also kind of filled us in on how far they'll bring the pools down and what ramps we need to look for as the water continues to come down. And so anytime we can, gain a little bit of knowledge and experience from folks that's already been there, done that, I'm all in. A says, I have a rod giveaway to set up yet if I ever get a call from one of two guys. Ace, I don't even have your number. I do have your stickers, though. I don't know what. I am kind of bad about remembering to get those things out quick, but for some reason yours, I thought I had them out twice, and I didn't. When do you think the Ohio River will turn on, Mark? Mark, it's starting to, as the temperature starts to drop, things are starting to pick up a little bit. The problem right now is there's just no current. So for me, finding places that have current. So if you look at your river, there's always wider and narrow areas of the river, especially on your bends. For me, I think looking for current right now, when there's virtually none, is going to be the target areas, and then finding those bait fish, looking for the creeks, the draws, the marinas and things like that. That's going to hold these bigger baits. So I hope it turns on soon because I'm dying over here. I want to catch some fish. Betty says I still sleep on the freaking ground when camping. I usually walk like got a corn cob up my blank for a week because my back is broke. Hashtag old lady. Betty, you're not that old. And I'll just leave the rest of it. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm just going to leave that alone. Wow, Kazi. Mark says we hit fish in the mud, 42 to 53 feet. It's awfully early for them to be in the mud. But 42 to 53 feet, you know, especially down there on Hoover, talking about how they're drawing that water down, I'm going to expect that most of them fish are going to start moving to them deeper holes. You know, just a guess, not, you know, I don't have experience up there to know that. I'm old enough, definitely not in my 20s. Yeah, I'm not in my 20s either. I'm not in my 30s either. We bought a 2XL cot from Sportsman Warehouse and love it. Fishing with the Chad. I've actually got a pop-up camper out here that was donated to me and Herb by one of our clients, and it has the cable broke on it. It's a crank up, you know, pop up, and the cable snapped on it, and it's been down ever since. And they gave it to us and said, if you guys think you can use it, put a new cable on it. The AC, refrigerator, everything's supposed to work on it. So I don't know, get a cable on that thing, and maybe some of these fishing invites, I can just, I don't know if I can connect the camper to the back of the muskrat though. That'd be a weird looking convoy. You'd be trying to pull a boat and a camper. Let's see, Betty's, I'm 18. Come on, man. You better than that. We know better than that. Fish old enough to know better, still still too young to care. That's right. Yeah, the cold snap, that's a good point there, Skip. You know, this cold front that came in and the barometer, you know, coming down does typically seem to push the fish down. And the exact opposite, obviously, with it coming up. So, you know, if you're talking about catching fish, no kid. You know, Kazi says every fish was mud body. I'll be daggone. We only caught 7 or 8 fish on Sunday out of Hoover, but none of them had mud on them. That I could tell. So, but it's rough camping at a Motel 6, but hey, leave the light on for you. That's what I'm talking about, Lyle. I've pulled the camping stuff off, but not fishing. And in my opinion, by the time I would try to, you know, get a camper or something like that and drive it down and take 2 separate vehicles and the gas, it's not worth it. I could just stay at a hotel and, you know, a lot easier, a lot less stressful. Let somebody else do the laundry and go on. That's pretty much how I feel about that. Betty did a great job. I'll give her props since how she's in here. Did a great job finding us a place to stay down on Hoover. I can't remember. It was like one in B&B or something. Oh, Skip, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about Hoover. If he's talking about mud belly fish out of the river. But anyway, Betty did a great job finding us a house right on the river. I mean, we're going to walk out our back door and straight to a dock with the boats, you know, all electric. Man, I'm looking forward to it bad. And we're only staying for 5 days, and it's going to go so fast. I'm going to make the best out of every single second of it. I may change my mind and head over to Hoover. Jim, I don't know. That'd be a tight one right now. The river's been pretty tough. Squirrel says hook the boat to the back of the camper and pull them both. The pop-up camper would be easier to have behind the boat than the boat behind the. But than the boat being in front of the camper. I have crazy catfishing. I seen you in here, but I don't think I gave you a shout out. Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it. We are still up to 50 folks in chat, and we're having a good time. This is what I enjoy, be able to interact, work with you guys back and forth, and just have some fun. Yeah, Hoover, we not hit a fish in the mud on Hoover in mud. Okay, Kazi, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were talking about the river. That kind of threw me for a loop when I seen that you had mud on the belly coming out of Hoover. I thought it was a little strange, but it makes sense now. Staying the colder, the better I sleep. I'm the same way, Sean. We've got the windows open, the fans on. It's pretty much how I got to sleep. Last time I took a tent and tried to camp, it was summertime. It's hot. I had to go home and get a fan and an extension cord. I don't know if it was so much for the cool air or just the white noise. I got to sleep with the fan on. I had to turn the air on today. The house got a little hot. I sit right out in the middle of wide open fields. A few folks that have been out here have seen there. I have one tree. It's a pine tree. And I have nothing around me. So when it's windy, it's really windy. And when it's hot, it's really hot. And when it's cold, it's really cold. Fishing with the squirrel. Yeah, we are. If you're talking about us, meaning me and Zach and Betty and Brandon, we are going to Alabama. And Betty says, not Hoover. I'm guessing when I was giving her props for the house, I may have screwed up and said Hoover, and I meant Wheeler. We're going to walk right out of the cabin, her house on Wheeler, and walk straight out to the boat and take off right from there. And we're staying in Rogersville. Isn't that cool? My wife heard that one sentence out of all the things I've said and giggled. She's dead asleep, but I heard that and giggled. I think she might be. I don't know what she's dreaming about. It won't last long. We're back in the high 80s, low 90s for highs again here. I haven't looked at the weather out. When should I be in Bama? Mark, we're going down the 10th through the 15th. Last I heard, Mark Greenwell was also supposed to be in the area down there, so I'm going to hook up with him. Our good friend Doc Lang's down there, so we're planning on popping in and saying hi to him. Is the Oxbow ramp steep? I think it's fairly steep, in my opinion. Make sure you have a good Navionics card, and Michael Merlis, the dead asleep, still go stuff. That's your head. It's probably true. When we were down there, from what I could tell, the lake looked like it was like 10 foot low. So looking at your Navionics, anything that's showing 10 feet is going to be like zero. So when you come out Oxbow, for me, I just hung a left and went out left of those islands. You could squeeze between the middle of the two islands that are there now, which you may not have been islands last time you were there, but they're there now. And I squeezed out to the left of them. We actually picked up fish from the boat ramp to the first island. And then picked up a couple fish, going around the outside edge off of that steep drop. So, but Oxbow, I feel is pretty steep. I got a big deep V and I didn't have any trouble putting it on and off. I don't know how much water they plan on letting out, like how quickly it comes out or how quickly it'll drop. So Janice said she's buying you a new 4-door Jeep Wrangler. Well, I can tell you that's a lie because that wouldn't be my first choice or second or third. So if I was going to spend money, it wouldn't be on a Jeep Wrangler. Too many boat options and truck options. I love my truck. It's a 2010 Tundra. It's got 185,000 miles on it. And my puppy came say hi. Who you are? It's got 185,000 miles on it, and knock on wood. This one. Hey, my dog thought somebody's knocking. I haven't had any issues with it. So, Buckeye Catfishing said it was down 18 feet last winter. Woo! It's on its way there now. I mean, like I said, I thought 10 foot. When I was reading, it looked like it was about 10 foot low. I think it was 8 foot low when Skip and I had gone, and it dropped probably 2 more feet. I totally need a Navionics card. My stock Garmin maps suck. Huh. How old is your Garmin, Mark? I've got the 93 SV, just got it. and you know, I haven't compared it to my Navionics cards. I've got a couple different versions of them, and I haven't really seen a difference. But like I said, it's brand new. Kazi says no Jeep, keep it truck stuff. Quit. Yeah, that's me. I've had a truck ever since I was, you know, old enough to drive. 2018 73 SV. Huh. Yeah. There you go, John. Roger, you buying Janice a new boat for your anniversary? No. Taco truck. Yep, Betty Jean. She just got her a Toyota Tacoma. I tell you, I had a Tacoma a V6. I had like 300 and I think it was like 325,000 miles on it, and sold it, and I still got like $9,500 out of that thing. It was a 06. So love the Navionics on my phone, save space on my graph. That is a great point, Brian. That works good for lakes. However, in rivers, they will not, you know, there's very little data available through Navionics on the river systems. And the Garmin actually does a fantastic job of creating its new maps. I've got a Lowrance TI7 that I'm using just for graphing, that I've got to get. I had to move the transducer. It was interfering with my Garmin. But, you know, I was going to set it up just for graphs, so I got to figure out how to get it mapping. So 2500 HD does the job, but I love my own 95 4x4. D said JP3, I can't wait to talk to your wife during the couple showdown. There you go, D. So he's talking all this shit all the time. It's time to put it back on his plate and see how it tastes. So yeah, Toyota makes a nice vehicle. So all right, guys, what sounds like my dog has got to go out. She's ready to go. We're just over a little over an hour and a half here, and so I'm gonna get this dog put down. I got to get up early in the morning. I truly appreciate you guys all being here. If you get a chance, you haven't done it yet, please drop the thumbs up out there. Share it out if you get a chance, and you know, don't be afraid to leave a comment after the show. Don't be afraid to leave some criticism. Something you'd like to see different, something you'd like for me to try, maybe a guest you'd like for me to try to get a hold of. If you don't want to leave it in the chat for everyone to read and you want to keep it private, send me a message. If you don't know my name yet, it is Roger Dement Jr. on Facebook. So look me up, and we'll catch you then. So thank you guys all for being here. Next week is a surprise. I don't even know what's coming. So thanks everybody for being here. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.